Special program today on the day when Karnataka is coming out with a blockbuster result. Some would say that this was expected, some would say it's a big surprise, but Congress is firmly in the position, at least till now. It's about 12:07 now, and Congress looks comfortably in a position to form the government. According to the latest numbers, we see Congress leading on 119 seats, BJP 75, JDS 23, and others 07. That's the latest figure, which is beaming all across the channels and across the websites. But the larger message which comes from this election is that, yes, it seems that the brand Modi magic has really not worked. And the kind of energy which Congress had put in the campaign, that has yielded them good results. But what about JDS, who was claiming that they will be the king or the kingmaker? In a special interview to the federal, HD Kumaraswamy, about 20 days back, he said that, Neelu, you will come back to interview me as a chief minister. So where is HD Kumaraswamy now? JDS figures, as I told you, is not even reaching 25. If you look at the bastion, the old Mysuru region, Congress has breached heavily, and it has breached into the JDS bastion. Congress is doing very well. In coastal Karnataka, which was a BJP stronghold, there also Congress seems to be gaining, and that also is a very big surprise again. So let's come straight to the panelists now on the larger picture. It's almost 12:09, and what does the larger picture look like? I have with me Prakash Swamy, who is a political commentator. Thank you so much, Prakash Swamy, for being here with us. Dakshin Murthy, who's the managing editor of the Federal. Thank you, Dakshin. We have Nagarajan Sundaram, who is a psephologist. Thank you, Nagarajanji. Siddharth Sharma is a political commentator joining us from Bangalore. Satish Jadhav joins us from Bangalore. And Puneet Nicholas Yadav, editor from the Federal. Thank you, all of you. And let me begin with Prakash Swamy for the larger picture. What is the biggest import at this hour, Prakash, according to you?
It looks like Congress is forming the government. I mean, on its own, that's very important. But, if you look at the reasons, the BJP made some blunders. They should have allowed Yediyurappa to continue for the remaining term. And Bommai was not an effective chief minister. I mean, he didn't deliver goods. And, despite Modi coming, despite heavy campaign by BJP, sending Annamalai from Tamil Nadu, there was a kind of anti-incumbency wave. And I would call it Basavaraj Bommai as the weakest BJP chief minister in India. When you compare Shivraj Singh Chauhan or any other chief minister of the BJP, Yogi Adityanath, this guy didn't perform well. And he could not defend himself. So it's the wrong choice of the BJP. You allowed him to be a chief minister. You should have allowed him to continue for the 5 more years. And you should have faced the election under the leadership of Yediyurappa. That's the biggest mistake BJP did. The second thing is Congress did very well. They played the cards really well. They took up all the issues, the inefficiency of the government, and also some corruption issues. They also faltered in terms of, that Bajrang Bali and stuff like that. But the only thing now we have to see, who will be the chief minister candidate? Because Siddaramaia's son has already announced that my dad is going to take over. Will D.K. Shivakumar keep quiet? I don't think so. He spent all his fortunes in the elections, and he's not going to take the second position. He's definitely going to wait the day for he be the chief minister. So Congress, though, will get a clear majority, they may have a problem in identifying the chief minister because both are very strong candidates in Karnataka. I mean, unlike in BJP where the Modi decides, everybody accepts it. Here, the Congress leadership is also weak. They are depending on Shivakumar. So this guy has been already the CM. Now he wants to continue. So there's going to be kind of some imbalance in the Congress. But we have to look at the JDU's angle. What if JDU joins hands with BJP? You can't deny that. Like, anything may happen in politics. Right. I've seen politics for 40 years. So things change. Because the entire family of Devagowda were in politics. About 20 people are in politics. So they know politics like your little finger.
Right.
So they may do some manipulation work. So we have to see, wait and see what are the changes happening, who's going to be the CM candidate, whether the other candidate accepts it, what will be the role of BJP. But as of now, it's clear that Congress is winning. There is no doubt about it.
Okay, so Congress is winning. There's no doubt about it. Let me come to Nagarajan Sundaram. Nagarajan, till morning, like we've been live together on various other platforms where you said that Karnataka still looks like a hung assembly. At 12:12, would you really say that it looks like a hung assembly, or Congress is comfortably now placed? Or you have something else up your sleeve now? Yes. Unmute yourself. Nagarajan, unmute yourself. You muted. Yes.
So it is bucking the trend. I was actually based my prediction based on the what you call trends past available in the with the data. Now actually it seems it is bucking the trend.
Okay.
Congress is not comfortably, it is nearing the magic number.
Right.
We don't know by, even if actually, as I told you yesterday in this federal program itself, if BJP falls below 95, then any government of BJP would not be stable also.
Right.
So even with the 20 seats or 22 seats of JDS.
Right.
But if BJP falls below 89, 85, then completely ruled out. Then you have to wait for the Operation Kamala post 2024. So, till then, actually, Congress will be in power if the trend goes like this.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let me get in Siddharth now. Siddharth, what does the larger picture look like? And especially, we can talk about BJP and Congress a little later. But what I want to talk to you about is specifically JDS and talking particularly about the old Mysuru region. What has really gone wrong over there? Just about half an hour back, or I think 40 minutes ago, we were also showing how Nikhil Kumaraswamy, HD Kumaraswamy's son, was trailing by almost about 14,000 votes. Now, if Congress is breaching that region, is JDS really not in a position to protect its stronghold as well? What about other areas where it had a minimal presence then? We need to talk about this factor. Yes.
Yeah, I think, Neelu, what has happened is that the people of old Mysore area have voted very strategically, not just tactically, they have voted strategically. The anti-incumbency against BJP was so much that they wanted to somehow get rid of this government. But they also knew that old Mysore has the highest number of seats in Karnataka amongst all the 6 different regions. 60 seats fall into old Mysore. And old Mysore is the only area where there is a tripartite fight going on. So I think the people knew that their vote should not get wasted and their vote should not get fractured. And realizing that, they very strategically voted Congress in, they dumped JDS. That is what my feeling is. And of course, this will hurt JDS a lot. It was already fighting this election on a survival mode. The election, the number of seats coming down substantially will hurt it even more. But that is from the angle, from the perspective of JDS. But from the perspective of the people wanted to somehow get rid of the BJP government here. But they also understood that their vote, especially the old Mysore vote, is going to be the key, because the tripartite fight, if their vote gets split, and the BJP benefits. I think the people of old Mysore voted very, very strategically this time.
Okay. Now, Satish, I want to come to you and then I'll come to Puneet. Satish, what would you really say at this point of time? Have the Kannadigas really rejected the BJP style of politics? It wasn't palatable to them at all. People talking about hijab, halal, azan, and also, in fact, Bajrang Bali. Today, people say that it's a Saturday, it's a Bajrang Bali day. People go to temples, just to pay obeisance to Lord Hanuman. But Lord Hanuman doesn't seem to have blessed BJP at all today.
Yeah, that's right, Neelu. So in fact, in the most of my discussions, I've been telling from the day one, I was clear, because even I repeat it, it is in a decisive mandate. Even morning, I told you in another channel. It's a decisive mandate from Karnataka voters, and it's very clear now it is Congress. And two factors work in favor of Congress, two or rather three factors. One is the anti-incumbency, as usual, any government will have. So anti-incumbency played a very strong role in BJP's in Congress favor. And second thing is that the guarantee. So guarantee card, whatever Congress has issued. So though there is a lot of debate and discussions to be done and how they are going to manage it, so people don't care. But definitely that Congress guarantee card has worked well. And the third thing, maybe I think the way what the last few days Modi or Amit Shah has trying to create, so that didn't work well and it go well in the South India, because it did work in Gujarat, it did work in other part of UP and all. But in Karnataka, especially in South India, it didn't work well. And if you see the current trend, Nilu, so half of the cabinet is lost. Sriramulu is lost. Somana is lost. Sudhakar is lost.
Absolutely.
And majority, and even this Janardhan Reddy has won. So Janardhan Reddy has won with 8,000 votes. So he's the only lone party from he has won. And half of the cabinet is lost. And all big guns, like Sriramulu is a very well-known, he has supposed to be a deputy chief minister, and he was nominated for the chief minister as well. And Somana lost both the seats, both Varuna and Chamarajnagar. And even Sudhakar, Dr. Sudhakar, it was really surprising, because Dr. Sudhakar is very strong and he won both in Congress as well as in BJP last 18 and 19. So he is losing. And Belgaum, central Saudi is winning BJP from the Congress, and Jagdish Shettar is lost. Okay, so these are all the major few things. I think it's a very strong anti-incumbency in my view, and definitely it's added in favor of Congress, plus their guarantee card and a very strategic campaign from the Congress. As I told you yesterday and today morning also, they started well even before the election announcement. Even after elections, they were stick to their campaign. But in between, for a few days, there were a derail to their campaign. But again, they got back to the track, and definitely it worked in them favor. So it's I think the hard work, whatever Shivkumar and Siddarama has put in from the last 3 years, 4 years, to creating that intent. I don't know how much is truth involved in the 40% commission, because I don't see any FIR filed. There is no Lokayukta reported. There is no case against any of the ministers on the 40% corruption. But still, they are able to sail through the campaign for the 40%. And also with the kind of 3 or 4 guarantee cards what the Congress has given, definitely it worked in favor of them. It looks like with the kind of numbers I see, it's 120, close to 120, 21 for Congress and 71 for BJP and 23 for JDS. So even JDS, BJP and others put together, it is not even 100. So even they are maintaining almost 50 numbers as a lead. So it's very hard to crack, even if it 2 hours, 3 hours from now. So it's 50 numbers is very hard to crack for BJP or for JDS. This number is going to stay. Even if it is 10 or 15 here and there, the Congress is going to get a comfortable majority, 115 to 120, and they are going to form the government. And definitely, if you look at the chief minister candidate from the high command, it is DKS, because DKS has put a lot of effort in the last 3-4 years, and he has put all his Tanu Mana Dana, whatever you say, he has put in. But yeah, he's Siddarama is a mass leader. Definitely, he is a very big leader in Karnataka, and there is a very big competition. But definitely, I see with Mallikarjun Kharge being the Karnataka guy and the AICC president, he will definitely crack this one, and probably will have a negotiation with both of them. And DK Shivkumar has repeatedly clearly told, I will go with whatever Kharge sir says. And he has also floated saying that Kharge can be a chief minister, but that Kharge didn't buy it. But Shivkumar is clearly, in many of his interview, he said, whatever Kharge and Rahul Gandhi will say, I will go by with. I'm sure with this majority number, they don't want to spoil the Karnataka's mood or the Congress mood. They will definitely crack in between, and Kharge definitely will have a in between line, either for Siddaramaiah for 2.5, and DKS for 2.5 years, or maybe Siddaramaiah as the chief minister and DKS as the deputy chief minister. They may work out some permutation and combination, and I don't see a major issue there. after getting such a thumping majority, Congress will get into a discussion on the chief minister's candidate.
Okay. So let me just throw some numbers for the viewers. Congress is almost leading in 126 seats. That's a final tally. Congress 126, BJP 68, and JDS 24. Now, with these figures, Dakshin, I would like to come to you now. What does this picture really say? BJP 68, Congress 126. Mallikarjun Kharge, in our interview to the Federal, also said, in fact, he almost chided me when I asked him that what if there is a hung assembly? So he said, why do you want me to, why are you taking me back? I don't even want to think of that scenario. And he said that I'm looking at a figure of 150. That's what he said. Now, what would you really say to this figure of Congress on 126 and BJP 69? I want a commentary both on BJP and Congress from you. Yes.
You know, what I find very interesting about this election is
Siddharth,
sorry?
Siddharth, just mute yourself. Siddharth, mute yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, Dakshin.
You know, what I find very interesting about this election is the consistency. For instance, there was a certain mood that was building up against the government and the Bommai government and in favor of the Congress because Congress was the alternative. And that has carried right through. The point I'm trying to make is that there were doubts whether there would be a nasty surprise. Because for the Congress, like what we've been discussing, one of the issues was whether Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar would stay united. And so there was a lot of backbiting, a lot of feuding that was going on, say, about 6 months before, earlier. Then the Bharat Jodo Yatra came, and during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, there was an effort by Rahul Gandhi, and it, I think, proved very successful. And post that, you really don't see a discordant note between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. And I think one must credit this to them because both of them are potential chief ministers. And the way the trend is going, it is going to be Siddaramaiah. There is no doubt because even the DK Shivkumar himself has accepted that it is going to be Siddaramaiah. And Siddaramaiah has made it very clear that this is going to be his last electoral battle. So DK Shivkumar, of course, is an organizational man. He's known for, known to work very well, as an organizer. But Siddaramaiah is a mass leader. So between them, there have been a lot of discussions and all that. And I think it's not going to be such a major issue. And it is going to be Siddaramaiah. Okay, so this is how I see it. Of course, in politics, you can never be 100% sure about anything. So the other factor is that for the BJP, the biggest takeaway is that they cannot take voters for granted. See, there are issues of region, there are issues of caste, there are issues of ideology. Then, of course, communal issues. Trying to polarize the Hindu and Muslim vote. But this government was so notoriously poor in terms of the administration. In fact, I have not seen, I'm from Bangalore, I'm a Bangalorean, but I've been in and out of Karnataka, so I've been in touch for a very long time, and I've seen many governments and seen them very closely too. I think this probably beats the earlier 2008 to 2013 of the Yediyurappa government, and all that. This time, really, the USP of the Bommai government was polarizing the Hindu and Muslim community and creating communal tensions which were completely needless. And I'm telling you, the psyche of the Kannadigas, the people in Karnataka, they do not want this communal violence. It's as simple as that. Whatever you might say, whichever ideology you belong. So I would, in fact, not even be surprised. That is one of the reasons why in coastal Karnataka, you find that, people are voting for the Congress. So it's because if the Hindu-Muslim catches on, it's really going to destroy the state in many different ways. Right. So I think this is a very thumping assertion by the Kannadigas that they don't want this kind of division, divisive politics. Absolutely. Right. And if this results carry through, the trends carry through, and the Congress gets a good majority, really this is a very good lesson for the BJP.
I was listening to somebody on some channel where they said that the Kannadigas have voted intellectually, not emotionally. And I think that indeed is right from what you're saying, Dakshin. Puneet, let me come to you now. I remember, I'm sure you would have also followed, Puneet, that you remember the parliamentary board meeting which happened, the BJP parliamentary board meeting in which Yadurappa came in and where the distribution of tickets was being discussed. Late evening, he stormed out of that meeting and many people started talking about the fact that, he's disgruntled. And a few days later, Jagdish Shettar, Lakshman Savadi and all these people were denied the ticket. At that time, Yadurappa, I remember, had given a soundbite to a television channel saying that the people of Karnataka will not forgive. And with a little gap, then he took the names of Jagdish Shettar and Lakshman Savadi. Now, what would you really say to the Yadurappa factor today? That is it proven that Yadurappa, who opened the southern gateway for BJP, it was not only Yadurappa, it was Ishwarappa, Jagdish Shettar, Anand Kumar, who's no more. But somewhere down the line, the very experiment of BJP to sideline Yadurappa has cost them heavily.
Well, Neelu, I think that's one of the elements. I wouldn't say that is entirely the reason for how the BJP has performed, but that's definitely one of the key reasons. But having said that, I think it's also important to juxtapose this on the BJP beyond Karnataka. And when you do that, you'll realize that the BJP in the states and the BJP at the central level are two completely different beasts. And the BJP at the state level, I believe, Yadurappa is, of course, a classic example and a very important example today because we're talking about Karnataka. But if you also look at, any other state where the BJP has, whether in recent years or traditionally been strong, you'll realize that the party today is going through a kind of flux which the Congress in the 1970s, during Mrs. Gandhi's time, had gone through, wherein this, sort of a penchant by the leaders to have whether it is Mrs. Gandhi back in the 70s or Mr. Modi today, to centralize control of the party, to keep everything together to themselves, leave the state leadership to rubber stamps, and remove any, this kind of a complex to not allow a strong leader to develop anywhere in the states who may become a threat, I think that is something that the Congress did in the 70s, and in the subsequent decades, you saw how badly it impacted the Congress in various states where it once was the only factor. I mean, there was no opposition as such. And you saw one after the other, these bastions collapse because the state leaderships collapsed. Right. It's all right to say that Mr. Modi has been a major election winning machine for the BJP. But I think that's a very, very myopic view for the BJP to take. Because what you've done essentially is, in a matter of just 8 years, you have sort of disposed of all your important state leaders. You saw that happen in Jharkhand, where, and this was soon after the 2019 elections, where you saw the BJP getting an even bigger mandate than 2014. And Jharkhand, you had Mr. Raghuvar Das, paradropped as the chief minister by the BJP. And the party was completely routed when Mr. Raghuvar Das's term ended. You saw a similar situation panning out in Himachal Pradesh, where you brought in Mr. Jairam Thakur, who had absolutely no mass base. He was brought in because Mr. Modi wanted to cut Mr. Dhumal to size, and Mr. Dhumal in that election had lost his own seat. So you have systematically demolished strong state leaders. We've seen how Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh, who's among the few chief ministers of the Vajpayee era to have survived, has had to completely change his politics to make it in line with Mr. Modi's brand of politics, and kind of, make him absolutely subservient to what Mr. Modi wants in his politics, what kind of leaders he wants. So the same thing. And I think Mr. Yadurappa was a very interesting example, although he was a BJP chief minister, and please do, Dakshin and the others who understand Karnataka much better than I do, would correct me on this. Mr. Yediyurappa understood that blatant communal politics does not function very well in Karnataka. If you saw his tenure, and even in the days when he's not been in power directly, you will never see Yediyurappa playing to this communal gallery very publicly. Even though he's a hardcore BJP man, a man who's come up the ranks of the BJP from the RSS BJP background. He's not an imported leader from any of the other formations. But he knew that this is not what I want to do, and this is not my politics. And maybe at some level, that's also one of the reasons why he had to pay the price that he paid with his leadership. And so in demolishing Yediyurappa, the BJP did not realize that it was also demolishing itself in Karnataka. So I think that's one very important takeaway for the BJP here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In fact, Neelu, just a point to add to what Puneet was saying, that during the COVID, in a Muslim-dominated locality, there was a sudden rise in numbers, and the BJP tried to make it appear as if it was some Muslim-related thing. And then, there was some kind of a tension that built up because the police suddenly came and they surrounded the locality and all that. Yediyurappa stepped in and very clearly said that you cannot link COVID to a religion. And he completely was dismissive, and he did not encourage that. And in fact, a lot of people within the BJP were very upset with him. Just to give an example to what Puneet was saying, he's absolutely right that Yediyurappa had a line and he didn't cross that when it comes to Hindu-Muslim relations.
But I would want to make one addition here, Neelu. I think there's one important factor that I think all of us are missing, which needs to be looked at more carefully. We're all very caught up with the seat tally. The Congress is 120 plus, the BJP has, been reduced to less than 70. At least as of now, the numbers may change marginally as we move towards, a few more hours. But interestingly, you'll see that the BJP's vote share in Karnataka is absolutely intact. You haven't seen any change. It was around 37% in the last election. It's 36 point some percent in this election also. The Congress's vote share has gone up. The last I checked, I think around by about 5 point something percent. And it was the JDS's vote share which had come down by about 5 point some percent. Okay, so there's also a shift in that vote. So the shift in vote seems to be from the JDS's core vote towards the Congress, at least in this election. Whether this sustains beyond this election, I wouldn't want to, predict that. But you're seeing that happen. And the importance of this is that the BJP, despite all of its anti-incumbency, despite all the mess and chaos that we saw before the election, when all these leaders were quitting and joining the Congress, etc., has managed to hold on to its cadre. One, it's managed to ensure that its cadre is able to mobilize even now their core voters. So the voters haven't shifted. It's not a party where the leader goes and takes his voters with him. The voters have stayed where they were. So that, I think, for the BJP, I think that's something, at least in this election, to take heart from. They've managed to hold on to their vote share, and they can still build on it. And it becomes all the more crucial considering the state of the JDS, because we must also keep this in mind that the JDS patriarch, Mr. Devegowda, is not in the prime of his health. He is, towards not just the fag end of his career as a politician, but also, he's a very, very aging and ailing politician. So 5 years down the line, if he is not on the scene, what happens to the JDS with this kind of a flux in the state politics. Is Karnataka, I think what we need to also discuss is whether Karnataka in the long run or even the medium run is moving towards a bipolar politics like other states, and what would be the implications of a bipolar politics if Karnataka ends up being a Congress versus BJP state, like say a Madhya Pradesh or a Rajasthan or the other bipolar states. So I think that's also very important to.
It indeed looks like an existential crisis, and the breaking news coming in right now is that HD Kumaraswamy is at a temple seeking a divine intervention. This is the latest which is coming across through the channels. Yes, Satish, you raise your hand. You want to make a point?
Yeah, so since you mentioned Kumaraswamy's name, so his son Nikhil Kumaraswamy lost in Ramnagara.
Yeah, yeah.
So he lost in
And that
Ramnagara.
Ramnagara was supposed to be a safe seat. It was his mother's seat, which she vacated. And
Exactly.
in fact, in our interview to the Federal, I asked him this question specifically, that this is a safe seat and do you think it's going to be a cakewalk? So he was quite confident that, he'll sail through. But really, what do you say about the unpredictability of this whole election process? But Prakash Swami, now coming to you, what do you think is the biggest message right now for the voters across the nation? Because we see a clear north-south divide, where in north, these emotive issues do work. And people have already started talking about the fact that BJP does have a Ram Mandir to talk about in 2024. BJP will come up with more infrastructure projects and they'll talk about this, that. People have already started talking about this. But the way the Kannadigas have voted, do you think that that's really going to become a learning lesson for the entire nation, or they still will be swayed by the Modi magic? They still will be swayed by some emotive issue, which if at all BJP brings it up in 2024?
Don't forget that Karnataka is the only state that elected BJP in the entire South India. Tamil Nadu is gone. Tamil Nadu has become a Dravidian rule. Kerala is communist Congress. Andhra and Telangana is gone, and Pondicherry, they have a coalition government. So Yediyurappa has got the kind of luck of bringing the BJP into power. And he also quit the BJP, went out, formed his own party, again came back because of his vote percentage. Now, today morning, I was talking to my senior journalist in Bangalore. He was joking, maybe it's a joke. He says if BJP gets at least 100 seats, they will form the government. And if the Congress gets even 120 seats, they won't form the government. So I asked you, what are you talking? What's the calculation? He said, no, this is what is going to happen. Because BJP is very clever. Even if they can touch 100, they'll somehow form the government. But
no, you're right, Prakash. In fact, half an hour ago, almost like about 40 minutes ago, across the TV channels, the BJP spokespersons who are sitting and talking, they are talking about a plan B, despite knowing the fact that Congress is in a comfortable position to form the government. Congress is the single largest party, but they're still talking about a plan B, that we have a plan B, and they're very proud of that, about talking about that plan B, no matter how illegal that is, how unconstitutional that is. Yes.
Leave alone ethics, and because there's no ethics in politics. You can't talk about ethics. So some of the BJP leaders in Bangalore are very confident that this may not work. See, okay, one thing they asked me, if Congress is so sure, why are they taking all their MLAs and keeping in the resort? You don't you trust your own MLAs? You criticize when Sashikala took all the ADMK MLAs in Kuvattur after Jayalalitha's death. Congress, completely criticized. The same thing you're doing, and everybody is doing. It happened in Rajasthan, different states. Now, my understanding is that Shivakumar is not going to leave the battle. He's not going to say yes to, the Congress president. So one thing, if you see the Congress 20 years ago, we have very powerful state leaders. Like Ramakrishna Hegde in Karnataka, and in the present chief minister's father in Andhra, Rajesh Pilot. Now, the Congress has made sure that the state leaders are submissive to them and don't have the power of their own. In Tamil Nadu, nobody knows who is the Congress leader except Chidambaram because of his union minister. So the Congress deliberately planned a low-key leadership in the states. But despite all that, Shivakumar has proved to be a leader in Karnataka with his money, power, wealth, his contacts, and approach, whatever may be the reason. So do you think, because what I heard from my friends, he took the entire responsibility of funding the elections for Congress, because Congress is not comfortable funding because it is not in power for 9 years. So he took the entire funding. So after all that, I don't think he's going to accept deputy chief ministership or going to play a second fiddle, because we all know Sidhu. Once Sidhu comes to power, he was not going to leave it. So that issue we have to watch. For it may not be like in Rajasthan, like Sachin is, kind of competing with Ashok Gehlot and going on a Padayatra. There's an open revolt in Rajasthan. There may not be an open revolt in Karnataka, but things are not going to be that easy for Congress with two powerful stalwarts eyeing for the post.
Okay. So I also want to come to Siddharth now. That Siddharth, there were also reports that if there seems to be some kind of a tussle, which it doesn't look like that there is a tussle at all right now between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, but there have been unconfirmed reports about Mallikarjun Kharge as well. From within the camp of Congress, I've heard that, last resort probably would be that Mallikarjun Kharge would become the chief minister. So do you see that probability happening, or there will be an amicable settlement between DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah with Siddha becoming the CM?
Nilu, I think that would have been the case if Congress would have become the single largest party or just crossed the majority with a razor thin margin. But the way the things are panning out, that was the reason that the reason being that Mallikarjun Kharge, his personality and his politics, he's an affable character across party lines. So Mallikarjun Kharge was Congress's plan B, that if things go out of hand and they need someone as a balancing figure, Mallikarjun Kharge is always there. But I think right now, Mr. Siddaramaiah, all said and done, has a very intense kind of governance experience, and Mr. DK Shivakumar also has good governance experience. This is a chance that Congress has gotten back after going through a lot of trials and tribulations. I don't think they'll squander it away on petty issues, because everyone knows that 2024 is just round the corner. So whatever they do, because last time also, if you remember, Karnataka voted in 2018 and JDS and Congress came together. But the moment in 2019, BJP swept the Lok Sabha with 26 seats, they started off with that Operation Kamala. So Congress knows that in 2024, if they do not repeat this kind of performance, then again, whatever majority they have, it can translate into it can come back and bite them. And a powerful BJP would be a very difficult demon to handle. So I don't think they'll squander it away. I think on the other hand, not just the Congress. Let's understand one thing today. What has happened is that the entire South India has gone out of hand of BJP. Only Karnataka was their entry point. Right now, what has happened is that it's decimated in Karnataka. It doesn't have a presence with Chandrasekhar Rao. With Jagan, they are already a junior partner. In Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they are not there. That means 130 seats out of 540 seats. That is 1/4 of India today is gone out of BJP's hands. And the opposition today knows at least the mathematical and the strategic trick how to keep BJP out of power. And just 1 year down the line, I think this message from Karnataka will not remain in Karnataka, will not remain just in South India. It will become kind of a template for all the opposition parties to come up with some kind of an arrangement where different political parties belong, who are strong in their own backyard, they take up cudgels against the BJP and try to defeat it. And the biggest example of this was the core Janata Dal voter this time not going to BJP, because the core Janata Dal voter whenever he votes in Lok Sabha, he votes for BJP. His first choice is Janata Dal, second choice is BJP, third choice is Congress. But in this election, they voted so strategically that they voted for Congress and against BJP. So everything said, all said and done, said and done, I think Karnataka has given a template to the entire opposition of India today, that how can you strategically, mathematically, electorally, strategically, politically outmaneuver BJP and try to keep it out of power. And I think this will be replicated in many places in the run-up to 2024. Now, how much it will benefit the opposition really in concrete terms, I don't know, because once you start, the election is between
Right. I'm losing your audio, Siddharth.
that BJP are very good and very.
There's a problem in your audio, Siddharth. Just try reconnecting. In the meanwhile, I'll go to senior journalist Vivek Deshpande, who's joining us from Nagpur. Vivek, BJP had tried all its tricks in Karnataka. You remember the mention of 91 abuses on Modi. Then he played Pakistan. Then he played the victim card. All sorts of experiments were tried. And despite that, if BJP has not even reached the 75 mark, what would you really say? I mean, what is the kind of learning lesson for BJP? And my second question to you is that in what formulation are we going to see BJP? Will they become more lethal now when it comes to Hindutva? Will they become more diluted? I can't really know. One thing for sure we know, and what we are talking about, is the fact that probably there'll be more cohesion amongst the opposition groups. They'll prepare themselves better. But for BJP, do you see some kind of a paradigm shift in as far as their approach is concerned towards all the aspects? Yes, Vivek.
Yeah, Nilu, I think I completely agree with the gentleman who spoke before me. This really serves as a good template for the entire opposition, not just Congress. And the most important thing in this election is that the BJP's vote share has stagnated. So in the previous election also, they had about 36% or so. So despite 5 years of governance, and despite the communal rant that...
sorry to interrupt you, Vivek, sorry to interrupt you. There is breaking news where HD Kumaraswamy has given a soundbite to all the channels. I'm just reading it out so that the viewers who are hooked on to Federal, they can also listen to him. He has said that no one has contacted me till now. There is no demand for me. I'm a small party. And that's what he has said. Yes, over to you.
Yeah, so I was saying that, the agenda of communalism that BJP had unleashed over the last 5 years in Karnataka, which is their Hindutva laboratory in the south, just as it is a gateway to the south. And as correctly pointed out by the gentleman who spoke before me, that gateway seems to have now closed. And an indication of this has also come from coastal Karnataka. If I'm not wrong, I have not seen the latest figures, but in coastal Karnataka also, which is the Hindutva stronghold, the BJP is down. If I'm not wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. So,
yes.
What has happened?
My Udupi, all 5 of BJP is leading, and Mangalore out of 7, so 5 BJP is leading.
Okay, fine. Then that's okay. But then otherwise, overall, if the BJP's percentage has stagnated at 36, that means that the BJP's tactics, BJP's agenda, BJP's communalism has also stagnated in a way. There is a limit. There is a limit to the appeal of communalism, of BJP's politics, to where it can get. Beyond that, there is no scope for BJP anymore. That is the message that is very strongly coming out of Karnataka. The other message is the opposition vote. Like
the latest numbers, sorry to interrupt you, the latest numbers which are flashing across the channels is Congress 130, BJP 66, JDS 22. Yes.
Okay, that number itself shows that the last ditch effort by Mr. Modi to use the issue of Bajrang Dal ban has not met with any success at all. And if the votes of the JDS have shifted to the Congress, that again is an indication that opposition votes could be consolidating in favor of Congress. Now, I don't know if this is going to replicate in other states as well, but it can happen. And BJP has stagnated. So I won't call it as Modi's charisma, but Modi never had a charisma. I feel that Modi always had hypnotic spell on the people. Charisma and hypnotism are two different things. Charisma has a positive connotation, whereas hypnotism is something very, very negative. And that spell of hypnotism is slowly dying down. Now, the question before BJP is, if Mr. Modi and the BJP's communal agenda is not going to pay off as many dividends as it was giving them in the past, then what is the new thing that they can try? So we don't know what is the new thing that they can try. The Ram temple is coming up before 2024. They might come up with some other temples. They might, but the road that the BJP has chosen for itself, the road of communalism, there is no way it can now go back on it. They have reached a point of no return. They have to take it strongly forward with more intensity, with more vigor, and with more venom, I believe. And they have to try everything under their belt to see to it that their communalism agenda succeeds at the end. But as the kind of signals that are coming out from Karnataka, there is a limit to where they can get along that road. So clearly, because they have not given any promotion to second-ring leadership in the BJP, the question before BJP would be, what is going to be their future in states other than Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat, where in some of the states Congress is already very strong. Madhya Pradesh, for example, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. So the effect of Karnataka could be seen even in these states. And as you know, what is the situation in Bihar and Maharashtra? There also the BJP is on a very sticky wicket. So in 2024 overall, Karnataka has given a very, very positive fillip to the opposition, and the BJP will be on the back foot when it comes to 2024. But of course, the BJP will always have some aces up their sleeves. What will be those aces? We don't know. So they might come up with something which we will have to keep watch on, and how this opposition then responds to that. That also we will have to see. But for now, the agenda of communalism doesn't seem to go anywhere for the BJP, Nilu.
Right. But also talking about the Mission South, Puneet, I would like to come to you now, that Telangana, the way aggressively BJP have been pitching its campaign in Telangana, what happens to that now, since the doors of Karnataka basically now look closed for BJP? How is it going to reach out to other southern states now? Will it give up its hope, or knowing what BJP is and the manner in which they function, how would they really conduct themselves for South?
I think, Neelu, that would be a stretch to imagine that the BJP is going to allow the Karnataka setback to impact its its campaign for Telangana or any of the other states. Whether those states react positively to the campaigns is a different matter. For instance, I do not see the BJP making any inroads in say a Tamil Nadu or even any major inroads in possibly Andhra Pradesh, or majorly gaining in Kerala either. But I wouldn't say the same about Telangana. I think that of course, it may not improve so much as to immediately form the government, but I do think that the BJP in Telangana would one, it would campaign very, very aggressively, and two, I think at some point they may also gain, because you have to see that in Telangana right now, you've got Mr. KCR, you've got the Congress party, and you've got the BJP trying to make inroads. But the Congress with this whole thing between the TRS and the Congress, the kind of confusion on what kind of politics is it that they're trying to do, the mixed signals that keep coming with regard to opposition unity at the center and what happens in the state, the kind of leadership that the Congress has been able to build up in Telangana, or rather not build up, all those factors come into play. So saying that what's happened in Karnataka is going to impact, negatively on the BJP in Telangana, I think would be a bit of a stretch. I think that both the states will need to be looked at very separately, very differently. And the BJP is not going to yield an inch when it comes to how it wants to campaign in Telangana. I think they will still go all out. Whether it yields results or not is a different matter. And I guess, it's possibly wrong to grudge the BJP how they campaign. We may not agree with their campaign. We may not agree with the kind of issues that they campaign on. But the fact is that they realize that democracy is all, for them, in their scheme of things, democracy is only about winning elections.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
The other appendages for them in a democracy are not as important.
Absolutely.
So for winning an election, they do not leave any stone unturned. The results may be, against them, but they will not,
What you just said, Puneet, what you just said substantiates, with an information which is just coming in. And with that, I'll go to Dakshin, that, after round 6, JDS leader HD Kumaraswamy manages a lead over BJP's CP Yogeshwara by a thin margin of 524 votes in Channapatna. That's his seat. Now, the question is that there, just about half an hour back, there were reports that at Taj Westin in Bangalore, BJP leaders have pulled up, and after visiting the temple, apparently HD Kumaraswamy is also reaching there. Now, do you see a possibility of some kind of a coming together of both these entities still, or now Congress is way ahead? Yes.
No. Congress is way ahead,
No, Dakshin, I'll come to you, Satish. I wanted a comment from Dakshin and then I'll come to you. Yes.
Should I continue, ma'am, or shall I exit? I have not been called. Everyone has got 3 times.
Sir, I'll come to you.
And just only 2 minutes I spoke. What for you have called me, I don't know.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Mr. Sundaram. Yes, Dakshin.
The Kumaraswamy and BJP can meet. I mean, they can cry on each other's shoulder, but I don't think if the Congress gets more than, 125, 130 seats, I mean, really nothing much can be done. So it's more, and then please remember in Karnataka, personal relationships cut across party lines. You have, at a personal level, JDS, Kumaraswamy having a very good relationship with Bommai having a very good relationship with Siddaramaiah. So it cuts across party lines. That's one of the uniqueness of Karnataka's politics, where party politics is one thing, but personal relationship is something else. So both go on simultaneously. So, if the BJP leaders and Kumaraswamy are meeting in Western, it's probably to kind of figure out what happened. I don't see anything more than that. Because right now, if the trends continue, and if Congress has really asserted itself, as a majority party, really nothing much can be done. Unless the Congress itself goofs up in some big way, which I can't imagine right now.
But
otherwise, it's all.
Dakshin, the way the JDS has fared up in this election, now, does it really come as a lesson for the power brokers that, the voters will try and reject you? Because day before, till yesterday, there were reports that Kumaraswamy was reaching out to Congress and BJP both. Today, he comes out and says in front of the cameras that he's a small player. And then at the same time, he's hobnobbing with BJP as well. So in a way, it's a big lesson for these power brokers.
See, the story of the Janata Dal Secular, the JDS, is a very sad story, because at one time the Janata Dal was really very strong. In 94, say when they came to power the last time on its own, when Deve Gowda became chief minister, until that point, it was always the Janata Dal versus the Congress. The BJP did not really have much of a foot space. So, but then, once Kumaraswamy became powerful within the family, and he asserted himself even over his dad, Deve Gowda. And the party has really lost its way, as far as its political credibility is concerned. It's actually a very sad story. The Janata Dal, losing out and reaching this kind of a situation is actually sad, because the Janata Dal could have been a nice balancing force within Karnataka's politics. But Kumaraswamy has taken it to some other space. I mean, I don't even know what that space is. It's a really opportunistic space where you wear it on your sleeve. You don't even hide it. You just say, whoever gives me the good deal, the best deal, I go with them. I mean, really,
Yeah.
it's very sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Nagarajan Sundaram, if I may come to you now, if you feel that, and what everybody is saying, that it's a sad story, the way JDS has crumbled, or if I may say, the JDS citadel is crumbling. We are seeing it crumble. What are the reasons now? Now, I'll tell you what, because I went to the JDS war room, and this time they had planned themselves brilliantly. They were, talking about a figure called a Mission 123. And they did expect some seats outside the old Mysuru region also. My old Mysuru region has been reached by Congress. Other regions also, they haven't performed very well. So what do you think are the biggest reasons why JDS has really, fallen flat this time? Yes, Mr. Nagarajan.
Thank you, ma'am. After calling me after an hour, give me uninterrupted 5 minutes. I have heard patiently all the people talking.
Sure, sir.
First,
Sure.
I will.
Sure. Go ahead.
First, there is a correction with regard to Dakshinamurthy's undivided Janata Dal only came to power in 1994. They fell out after 1996, after he became the chief minister, the prime minister. Then the 98 election, the Janata Dal, yes, and the Janata Dal United, they contested separately. So Ramkrishna Hegde went out, and that became the Lok Shakti party later. So that time, Janata Dal got only 10% votes in the parliament election. Always after that, since then, they have been getting only 10% vote in the parliament and around 20% vote in the assembly election. So swing vote is getting that. And Janata Dal, it is a pocket party. It's in one region only, backed by a community, and as an additive, the Muslim vote get consolidated with them, and the agriculturist also, and they have their right. We cannot question them. But if they become power brokers, everyone is power broker. Our DMK went and sat in Delhi during 2009, bargaining for Plum chief minister, the ministerial post, and many journalists were helping them. Everyone will do. Actually, they will bargain for their flesh. That is not a bad thing. Now, I congratulate Congress. Even Operation Kamala is not possible. That BJP has gone down below 60-65. As far as BJP keeping its 30% vote, everywhere they are keeping their vote intact. In Delhi, since Sushma Swaraj stepped down from the chief ministership, paving way for the winner, Sheila Dikshit, they never came back to power. But they have been keeping 32 to 36% vote there. Across India, there is maybe one or two exceptions. They have been keeping their vote share intact. That's why one thing. And Mr. Puneet has brought some sense to the debate by sensibly comparing without going this side or that side. I will tell you a story about about South India. South India, the Congress has been having 320 MLAs between 2009 and 2014. How many? 320 MLAs. And it came down to 171 between 2014 to 2019. And now it has 130 between 2019 to 23. Now, how much he is adding? This Congress is adding 80 was there, or 70 was there. 80, you take it. They are adding another 40. Then it will remain only 170, 71. What was there in 2019 to 14, 171, that will remain. Congress has lost. Congress has lost Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Pondicherry. Congress has actually back-to-back government never came in Kerala. that communists have back to back have come back. And in Karnataka is the only place. Actually, in Tamil Nadu, they have got 18 members, 18 assembly members. And this will not reflect in other states. Just like actually I told you in another program that BJP is getting lowest of 18 parliament members and highest of 26 parliament, plus last time 26 parliament members from Karnataka from 98 onwards. Don't extrapolate this, then this will happen, that will happen. Congress has actually, they have got a breather now. If they try to actually organize the opposition, and they may come to some, actually, they can increase the opposition. That will happen. That is a possibility. But Modi does not have this, he does not have this, everything is going to have, nothing will happen. The same thing they were talking in 2018 and 19, nothing happened. So this will not happen. Throughout India, Congress is losing.
Mr. Nagarajan, I had a question. I had 2-3 questions for you. Now, for example, if you talk about the BJP vote share, we are saying that that is intact. How will BJP build on its vote share from here on? Can you throw some light on that?
No, actually, they have to attract swing votes. I am in agreement, total agreement with that, that Modi cannot be. Some 2 days before, during the exit poll, I went to a channel, a television channel. So I told that you can run a lackluster government for 2.5 years, 3 years, and 1 month Modi will come and campaign and change the whole thing. This is not at all good, and this is not going to help. This is not at all should be the strategy. You should actually deliver. Then Modi can be an additive.
In Karnataka, he wasn't able to do that.
Yes. It is not that every time.
The chance for 7 days.
Actually, I am a Modi. What do you call that? I love Modi. I objectively assess Modi. I don't give a subjective opinion. I objectively, I have criticized in my tweets many a time Modi. Objectively, Modi in the BJP, Modi is the only person who is giving his 200% to the party. But heavy lifting by Modi, every time he will do the heavy.
Mr. Nagarajan, all that is fine, that he's doing most of the heavy lifting, he's leading the party everywhere. But the point is that the magic is missing. We have to accept that fact also. It hasn't worked in Karnataka.
He brought in that same 37% vote. He made the change in Bangalore urban.
Vivek, I think
what else do you want? Because all the wrong things have been done by the local
Nagarajan, one second. Vivek wants to say something. Yes.
Yeah, Nilu, why Mr. Modi is doing all the weight lifting is because he doesn't want others to lift any weight. He doesn't. That is the problem. That is the problem with Modi. You know, you cannot have just one power center in a party for all the time. There is a limit to where Modi can win. And why is he not allowing? Why is he not projecting the second-rung leadership anywhere, including his own state? Because Modi wants to hog the limelight alone all the time. That is the problem of the BJP. The sooner the BJP realizes this problem, the better it would be for the party.
Shall I reply? There are two components. For a political party, one can be a major public leader who will actually bring people actually traction. Another is actually administration. Had Yedurappa and Bommai gave a good administration, they could have just to take the example of Himanta Biswa Sharma, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, or Yogi Adityanath. They were doing that. The administration is important. Even the person, this Goa Chief Minister, Pramod Sawant. So actually, there is a space, but these people are not, neither they are good in administration, nor they are good becoming a good leader. That is actually because of that, they have to change the leadership. If somebody is doing that, that will help definitely.
Okay. Mr. Nagarajan, I have one more question for you, and then I'll go to Prakash Swami and the Satish, who has been waiting for long. I have to go to him as well. Mr. Nagarajan, if you could throw some light that, you know, the switch of the vote shares, the switch in the vote shares, basically in JDS vote shares going to Congress. Now, do you think that Congress can sustain this vote share, or how will it maintain this now?
How it went, you know? That is because of the Bajrang Dal. Even in Ramanagara, Nikhil Kumaraswamy is a big chunk of Muslim vote is there. 89 Devegowda makes his comeback from that seat only, 89. That is a biggest stronghold. Ramanagar is the biggest stronghold. The entire Muslim vote, maximum of Muslim vote, that has actually, they have the traction, they have attracted, Congress has attracted that. They can sustain it, they can sustain it. My gut feel is actually the JDS will lose its shield, because after the division in Janata Dal, the Ramkrishna Hegde faction contested along separately. That time Ramkrishna Hegde faction got 13% of the vote, 18 seats. The Devegowda faction got only 10% of the vote. But Ramkrishna Hegde faction went and joined with the BJP. Entire party has been followed by the BJP, and BJP does this everywhere, and it will happen everywhere. It will happen. Any smaller party, if it goes and joins as an alliance partner or something, that loses its identity and they get joined, and they will be what do you call that, immersed with that. So I don't see a big future for JDS, and it is good for Karnataka also. If the polity becomes a bipolar one, that's a good 5 years, because that will be, justice will be done to the people there. Because very ineffective administration cannot go along.
Yes. Now, I want to come to Satish. Satish, you remember Congress when it came out with its manifesto and announced the ban on Bajrang Dal. I'm just wondering that if they had not announced the ban on Bajrang Dal, where would BJP have been then? Because Mr. Nagarajan and others are saying that, yes, BJP, in the last 7-8 days, and even you also said in a few programs that in the last 7-8 days, because of Modi and because of Bajrang Bali chants, BJP was able to keep its vote share intact. They were able to consolidate themselves. But what if this ban wouldn't have happened? I'll come to you.
I will just one second.
Yeah.
Bajrang Dal issue will not bring votes. That is my considered opinion from the beginning. I never said in any program.
No. I have a question for Satish now.
Yeah.
No, actually, Nagarajan, you included my name also in that.
No.
I never get. I told BJP people also. Don't.
Okay.
That is helping the Congress.
Nilu, in fact, I spoke about it. So Bajrang Dal, it's definitely the swing. I mean, the fence sitter from the BJP hardcore votes who were thinking because of the corruption in Karnataka, they might be thinking of voting Congress. Because of this Bajrang Bali, they would have moved, or Modi's campaign, because of their move to BJP. That's the discussion I had. Yes, I take that point. Definitely see Congress again. I told you beginning also. It's a trap led by Congress to appease the Muslims, where Muslims vote had been divided in most of the places for JDS. Okay, and Kumaraswamy also blatantly was asking the appeasing Muslims for the JDS, and it has been very from the last few elections, JDS Muslims were being divided between JDS and Congress, and majority of the Muslims voted for JDS. That's why this Bajrang Bali banning point came. I mean, this it was a trap. I mean, it is definitely a well thought. Now it feels that they bought in this point to consolidate all those Muslim votes towards the Congress. That's exactly has happened. Wherever JDS lost, say for example, just Nagarajan was saying Ramnagaram. Ramnagaram is a very strong basin for JDS right from the Devegowda's time, right from the 89, 87 time frame. Ramnagar is very strong. And since then, Devegowda has won it, Kumaraswamy has won it, Anita Kumaraswamy has won it. So it's been very long history JDS had. But for this time, Congress very methodically got in a Muslim candidate, Iqbal Ansari, where all the Muslim vote got consolidated and Nikhil Kumaraswamy got lost. Okay, so definitely this worked in favor of Congress. I think, though many people, including me, we discussed there was a mistake why Congress put it in their manifesto, but now it looks like it was an intentional word they brought into their manifesto to consolidate the Muslim votes where they might go to Congress. I mean, sorry, to JDS. So that's where I think that game, whatever they played, it worked well towards the Congress. Definitely it worked. And one more point I want to add, Nilu, here the Congress winning in Karnataka definitely gives a kind of a relief to Congress, because Congress was completely in ICU from many years, losing all the north states, central, everywhere. And the Bharat Jodo Yatra, what Rahul Gandhi didn't received so much of a positive vibe across India, but in few parts. But definitely, this is a for Congress, it is coming out of from ICU to ward. So they have now come to the ward level. At least they feel, at least they can take their own oxygen. So all these days they were on ICU, they were in support of an oxygen, but now they can take their own oxygen in the ward. Okay, because this, as also some of the guests were talking about, that this is a template, but definitely it may not work as in a template, but it will give some kind of a positive boost motivation to all the Congress, not only from Karnataka, but from India. So see, at the next parliamentary election is due next year. So there are a lot of leaders playing around. Nitish Kumar, you say, TRS, they are playing. They are trying to consolidate. Sharad Pawar is trying to consolidate the national level. Since Congress has taken a back seat, okay, so a lot of leaders like Nitish Kumar, TRS, and Sharad Pawar is trying to consolidate all those small parties against the Congress. But now with the winning Congress, winning Karnataka, Congress will definitely come to a front foot now. They will take the lead at the central level. So this will give a boost to the Congress.
Neeluji, 30
To
seconds.
Vivek.
Only two
Yes,
comments.
Mr. Sunil, yes.
Two comments. Vivek ji said actually South India there are 130 seats, and in South India regional parties play a major role. In Andhra Pradesh, you know, in Kerala, in the recent past, last 15 years before, Congress drew a blank, just 0 seats. It is a Kerala Congress stronghold. They got last time they got 15 seats. They would be getting only 9 seats this time. So second thing is what he was saying. I just missed that.
Yes, Mr. Sundaram, I'll interrupt you here because Siddaramaiah is holding a press conference and he's lashing out at BJP right now, saying that they've sidelined Yedurappa. He's talking about Ishwarappa. He's talking about all the difficulties which actually BJP faced. And he's saying that Operation Kamala will not work this time. I was just watching on my phone. Yes, Siddaramaiah is holding a press conference right now. I'll go to Prakash Swami then. Yes, you did raise your hand also in between. Yes, over to you, sir. Yeah.
One of the guests who spoke before me spoke about the communal politics of BJP and how they are trying to polarize, stuff like that. Congress in its manifesto wanted to ban an extremist organization which had ties with Islamic State. That's fine. That's the Congress role. But to balance and equate, they bought a ban on Bajrang Dal, saying that that's a Hindu terrorist organization. In fact, it was P. Chidambaram who was the first man to use the word Hindu terrorism in India. So, I mean, it's a Congress culture. So now they Bajrang Dal. Now, then somebody told them, hey, you're going to lose all the Hindu votes. Shiv Kumar went and sang Hanuman Chalisa in all the meetings. Why? Why this dichotomy? If you're very confident of, yes, we are going to ban all Hanuman temples, everything, then you shouldn't have stayed back and gone and, you played all the games of
Okay,
supporting
Mr.
Hanuman.
Swami, little breaking news for all the viewers. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. is a CLP meeting. That's what Siddaramaiah has just announced. And the reporters were asking him questions. So he asked the reporters to listen to the celebratory voices of the band and the dhols. So he's still holding the press conference. I'm told, no, it has just got over. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I had to give this piece of news. Yes. Yes, over to you, Mr. Swami. Yes.
Now, same thing happened in 2010. Karnataka, when he was a chief minister, asked a question, is Ram an engineer? Did he build Ram Setu? We will demolish Ram Setu. What happened? 2011, DMK was finished. Jayalalitha came back to power. So there's a very strong sentiment. Now the same thing. Congress was projected against Ram Temple in Ayodhya. And they thought they're not going to win. People like Kamal Nath, all those, they U-turn and said, no. We respect Ram. We put Vibhuti on the forehead. So is Congress playing double game?
Okay, Mr. Swami, one more breaking news. BJP has conceded defeat is the official on record statement which is coming. The BJP has conceded defeat in Karnataka elections. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you off and on but there's a lot of development happening. Yes, yes.
See, at least BJP has been very straightforward in its Hindutva policy.
But an hour back, they were talking about a plan B.
No, Hindutva policy, generous.
Yeah.
BJP never swayed away from its policy of Ram Mandir, Hindutva, everything. But Congress changes hands very quickly. Sometimes it's against Hindus, sometimes it goes and supports Ram Mandir. They are in a dichotomy, they don't know what to do. They are the one who are indulging in communal politics, whereas BJP is very clear about the policy. Again, what Karnataka said, Ram, an engineer, he got punished. Oh, this time maybe Hanuman is little favorable to Congress. That's why they allowed him to win.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you did. Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree with Mr. Swami. The point that I was trying to make was BJP, the Congress for the first time decided to take the BJP head on the issue of communalism, although subsequently they did try what Mr. Swami was referring to, reading Hanuman Chalis and all, because that effect is still lingering on their mind. But they did make the first move to take the BJP head on communalism. That was a good thing, and they knew that they could risk it in Karnataka, because Karnataka was slated to go their way, as the surveys pointed out earlier. And we can certainly look at this issue of Bajrang Bali in two different ways. See, all the election surveys which were done about a month before, which were completed about a month before the election, or about 15-20 days before the election, when the campaign was yet to kick off, all those surveys had pointed out that, most of those surveys had pointed out that the BJP, the Congress would get something like 125 to 130 seats. One of the surveys, Edina survey, perhaps said that it would go beyond 133 or something like that. So, that number has, the Congress has finally got that number, which means that the Bajrang Bali issue did not benefit the BJP in the manner in which they wanted. But if you look at the percentage of votes, then you can certainly say that perhaps the percentage, if it would have gone down, it had stayed at the level where it was earlier. So there are two ways of looking at it. But yes, the point is, the Congress has been very, very weak while taking the BJP's communal agenda. They have made a beginning by taking up the issue of Bajrang Dal, and they need to only take it forward, because BJP is going to take their communal agenda forward till 2024. They are not going to let it down in any way. So if the Congress has really the guts, it should take BJP's communal agenda head on and not beat around the bush. That is what I feel.
No, if it takes it head on, there is a risk also involved. Like you remember the day when this the ban on Bajrang Dal was announced. What did Hemanta Biswa Sarma say? He came and said that it's a Muslim League manifesto. So then again, allegations on Congress will be that it is on a Muslim appeasement spree. Vivek?
But if they stay back on their vacillation about the communal agenda, then also it's not going to pay off. So they have to take this risk. Till what time can they put it off to another day? So they have made a beginning, and they must very strategically do it in places where they can take the risk. Not everywhere, of course. In Uttar Pradesh, they cannot take this risk. But strategically, they could take this risk in Karnataka. They did take it, and they did not face any backlash from that.
Right, but
if they're going to impose a ban on Bajrang Dal in Karnataka in the Congress government, that will have an all India impact.
No, but they can't do it. But
even
if government cannot do it.
Even if they ban in Karnataka,
Dakshin wants to make a point. Yes, Dakshin.
I just want to make a very limited point. See, the thing about the manifesto and the Bajrang Dal ban may have been unnecessary at this point, given the kind of reaction that happened just before the elections. And anyway, it's turned out that it did have an impact. But the other point, just because you name an organization after, a DT, like say Sri Ram Sene is another organization in Karnataka.
Yeah,
now, what do you think Sri Ram Sene does? Sri Ram Sene does moral policing. It attacks pubs. It is it's a violent organization. So just because you call yourself Ram Sene, you can do whatever you want. And if somebody wants to take action against Ram Sene, saying that you're taking action against a Hindu organization, what you're basically trying to do is conflating the name of an organization without looking at what it actually does. For instance, Bajrang Dal hardly sits and praises Hanuman. Bajrang Dal is a political outfit. It's meant to carry forward the ideology of Hindutva on the street.
it's
And some of
vigilante.
the,
The response is
when
also
the issue
political.
of halal,
It's
hijab,
it's a
all these
it's
issues
a
happen.
vigilante.
It's all political, sir.
We
We
should
should
It's a
understand.
vigilante.
when
It's a
all this
vigilante
hijab
organization.
issue,
Yeah, no, but
hijab
one
and
question.
halal issues, who do you think did all this? Hanuman never said, don't wear a hijab or wear a hijab. Hanuman has nothing to do with it. You just put one name of a deity and then do whatever you want. And then when you, when you want to take action against it, you say Bajrang Bali and this Bali and that Bali. I mean, I think it's completely uncalled for. I mean, you can't just because you name somebody
Yes,
as a deity.
Dakshin
you
sir,
can do whatever you want.
this is
You
all a
are-
political thing, sir.
No,
You
no.
are
Even Jai
denigrating.
Sri Ram is a political slogan, but
We
it's
may want to
working
do
with
it
people
that way.
somewhere.
We don't have to fall
Doesn't
into
work.
that trap.
That is a
Why
different
are you
thing.
singing
okay.
Hanuman Chalisa in all the meetings? Why did
You
DK
are-
Shivkumar
Because
sing
that is
Hanuman
different.
Chalisa?
Praying,
no,
praying
why is he
God,
singing?
praying the deity
Yeah,
Hanuman,
I
or,
want to come to
reciting
Puneet
Hanuman
now.
Chalisa is
I-
very different from Bajrang Dal. They're not
Absolutely.
connected at all with each
No,
other.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay, okay.
By
so
any-
Only
by any-
one thing.
I'll come to each
thing
one of you.
No, Puneet, Puneet, you just ask what is the impact of Bharat Jodo? What is the impact of the
No,
guarantee
I'll ask
card?
my questions, Mr. Nagarajan.
You ask him. You ask
What
him.
I have to ask him. I will ask him, sir. I will ask him. I will ask
No,
him.
actually, that
But
I want to
no,
know.
I have
from-
to put the discussion on track. No, you can't intervene in between and say, no, you ask this to Puneet. I had something else in my mind. So please don't disrupt the debate like this. Please, it's an honest request. Yes. Puneet, to you now. What I want to ask you is that somewhere down the line, we are talking about Bajrang Dal, we are talking about Bajrang Bali, we are talking about a Muslim consolidation which has worked in favor of Congress. My question to you is that Congress has made a beginning by chanting Hanuman Chalisa, by also talking about Bajrang Dal, Bajrang Bali. It has also at the same time reached out to Muslims. So in what format or in what manifestation are we going to see Congress in other states now? Is there going to be some kind of a change? Because if they have to consolidate the Muslim votes, at the same time, keep the Muslim votes, the Hindu votes intact, because they've made a beginning with Hanuman Chalisa. Now today, every Congress spokesperson who is coming across the channel is referring to Bajrang Bali, that it's a Saturday and Bajrang Bali has blessed Congress. So this was so unlike Congress. So what I want to ask you is, how is Congress going to manifest its campaign in other states now? Is it going to be like a binary? Like BJP uses a binary of Vikas and then Mandir, Hindu, Musalman. So for Congress, is it going to be a new binary of reaching out to Muslims and at the same time talking about these religious figures as well?
Well, Neelu, for starters, I think this is an absolutely flippant issue. Absolutely flippant issue. One, I think it needs to be said that the manifesto talked about banning not just Bajrang Dal, it said certain organizations and said Bajrang Dal and PFI both. It did not single out Bajrang Dal, it also said PFI. Okay. Now, whether a state can actually ban an organization or not is a different matter altogether. We had Mr. Veerappa Moily, former law minister, Congress leader, saying that the state does not have the power to ban an organization. That again, let's leave that aside for a moment. The point here is, when you're talking about a PFI or a Bajrang Dal or banning X, Y, Z, whatever. And what you asked, whether this is going to be now a template for the Congress, and our friend Gurdeep has just joined us. He'll be able to comment better on Congress's strategy.
Yes,
but I personally think that, as a centrist party, as a centrist secular party, there are clear pitfalls for the Congress. When you say you want to ban a Bajrang Dal or a PFI, you'll immediately have the BJP respond in the way it did. But you'll also have the so-called liberals respond by saying, what was the need for them to say this? they should just keep quiet. They should not raise these issues.
I think we
You
need
know,
to raise these questions.
So
Yeah.
it becomes very difficult within, given the kind of polarized politics that we live in at this moment, for any party that is trying to, or that at least publicly wants to espouse secularism, it's actually very difficult to, to take certain sides based on principles of secularism.
Right.
If the Congress had said only PFI and not the Bajrang, I'm absolutely certain the reaction would have been very different.
Right. So let me, Puneet, allow me to interrupt you because Gurdeep has a limited time. He has to be on all the channels, I'm told. So welcome, Gurdeep, for the first time on Federal. It's wonderful to have
Thank
you.
you.
And a big congratulations. Your party has done wonderfully well. So my first question to you is that were you expecting this number? Because people were saying that the minimal number which Congress is expecting, that it won't go below 110 or 120. But looking at the figures which have finally emerged, were you expecting this number or your expectation was more than what it is?
Thank you, Neelu, for your good wishes. If you have been listening to the speeches of our leaders and in their private conversation also, we were always very confident that we are getting more than 120 seats, and another 20 seats are those where we can pick up. They were in close fights. And out of that, we have won almost 133. We are leading 133, and on one, our ally is leading. So this is as per our expectation. My only observation is that Congress knew that we are winning. People of Karnataka knew that Congress is winning, but others, especially the mainstream media, it was oblivious of the ground reality. It was totally disconnected with what was happening in Karnataka, and they did not know that Congress was going for a landslide victory.
Right. But Gurdeep, people have begun talking about the next step of Congress and your next approach towards other states, because all the Congress leaders have been talking about the fact that you've been blessed by Bajrang Bali enough today and you got comfortable numbers. So are you going to be tackling up with a binary which talks about a religion? I was talking to Puneet also on this, and I'll ask the same question to you, that are you going to be talking about religion as well as the party is going to reach out to the Muslims, like the way the Muslim consolidation has happened in favor of Congress? So what is the party's approach going to be now?
When Congress talked about Bajrang Dal, it was not talking about a religion. It was never talking about Bajrang Bali. That was a distortion brought in by Prime Minister Modi. He was ably supported by the entire sold-out media, which did not go back to Prime Minister and ask, how has Bajrang Dal been equated with Bajrang Bali? People in Karnataka know that, be it Bajrang Dal, be it PFI, be it several other organizations, they are there. People are fed up of those organizations. They are unruly organizations. They create a lot of trouble for the law-abiding citizen of Karnataka. And for a state government, it is necessary to ensure law and order. So what we said, that any organization which is unruly, which breaks the peace of which shatters the peace of the state, will be dealt with as per law. What is wrong in that? The entire twist was brought in by Prime Minister because he had no legs to stand on in Karnataka. Throughout the campaign, not for a single day, not a single journalist could question either Prime Minister or Amit Shah or JP Nadda or the Chief Minister about the performance of their government in Karnataka. They had been ruling Karnataka for 5 years, almost 5 years. Nobody put questions to them. They were only trying to divide, to polarize. But the problem that BJP does not realize is that anybody who has not been polarized in the last 9 years will never be polarized in this country anymore. Who had the potential to be polarized are already polarized. So we were speaking to those for whom the day-to-day issues matter. We were speaking to those who are facing the burden of BJP's policies. This election was not a Hindu-Muslim election. It was rich versus poor election.
No, but people did talk about the fact that, the moment Congress announced a ban on Bajrang Dal, there would be some kind of a reverse polarization happening. And especially if you look at the results of old Mysuru region and the way the Muslim consolidation has happened, now that Congress has won, and if I may ask you very candidly, or was this a strategy by Congress to announce the ban and then expect some kind of a reverse polarization? It could be a clever tactics by Congress.
I do not know why we are analyzing through this prism. If that, we did not speak about a ban. We talked about taking action as per the law. B, we also spoke about PFI in the same vein. So if there was a polarization, we also then risked the polarization of Muslims against us. But the Muslims of Karnataka have not voted on the basis of PFI or Bajrang Dal. They have voted because they have been sidelined in the last 5 years. From hijab to hilal to reservation to other issues, they have been on the receiving end. So that is why they have supported Congress in a big way, because they know that Congress is the one which is a secular party. Congress is the one which will stand for the rights of every individual, not on the basis of religion, not on the basis of caste, but just because they are citizens of India. This election was about this at a larger level. And B, this election was also about the crony capitalism, about corruption. People of Karnataka know that the BJP government is serving only the rich. So across the state, all the surveys have brought out that the poor have voted for Congress. So this election is about day-to-day issues. This election is about peace.
Gurdeep, there were reports, and in fact, Siddaramaiah just held a press conference where he said that tomorrow 11 a.m. is the CLP. And what about the chief ministerial candidate? Are we sure that we are going to see Siddaramaiah as the chief minister?
How can anybody be sure without Congress party's legislative party meeting and expressing and conveying his views to the Congress leadership? The system is very simple. There will be observers appointed. There will be a CLP meeting. Those observers will speak to every MLA individually, give their report to the Congress president, who in consultation with senior leadership will take a call. This is a time-tested format on which Congress party decides. So as of today, nobody in Congress party can say that Mr. A or Mr. B is going to be chief minister.
Right. Gurdeep, you were part and parcel of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. We've seen you doing all the back-end stuff for the Bharat Jodo Yatra. You are with Khargeji, working with him very, very closely. Now, the point is that if I may ask you about the impact of Bharat Jodo Yatra, because the way it began from South and the kind of impact you think that you feel that this Yatra has had an impact now that the results are out.
Neelu, I'll again reiterate my point. The mainstream media gives no space to what Congress or other opposition parties speak about. They only parrot what BJP feeds them. This has been there for last 8 years. It has been increasing year by year. So last year in Udaipur Chintan Shivar, when Congress met, we acknowledged this reality that the media largely has surrendered to BJP. It is no more the fourth pillar. So we have to reach out to people of India directly. The first big step for that outreach was Bharat Jodo Yatra, where Rahul Gandhi walked from Kerala to Kashmir. He met people, and that energized the entire party. That set a narrative, because in this country, people were afraid. In this country, people had stopped taking ideological positions against RSS. People had stopped saying that they're talking against the hegemony of RSS. There are clear-cut two ideas of India now. One is RSS and one Constitution of India, which is essentially the philosophy of Congress party represents. Everybody had started surrendering to the idea of RSS, either out of fear or coercion, or because of even the groundwork done by BJP RSS. I would grant them that also. Right. So Rahul Gandhi stood up. He talked a different language. He stood up. He talked about the ideological difference that Congress represents against RSS. We went directly to people of India. Certainly, that has given a fillip. And in this election, whatever we listened during that yatra, whatever Congress party learnt in that yatra, was converted into 5 guarantees. So there is an organic linkage between what we analyzed in Udaipur, what we did in yatra, and how we designed our campaign. And in this campaign, if you have seen, we were not at all dependent on the mainstream media. We were trying to use as much was available to us, but I can tell you, I saw bulletins after bulletins. We had a 30 minutes bulletin. If you leave aside 5-6 minutes of break, out of 23 minutes, 22 minutes for BJP and 1.5 minutes for Congress. This was bulletin after bulletin in TV media. So we were fighting an election in that light, and Bharat Jodo Yatra has given us a template that go to people, listen to people, talk directly to people.
Right. But Gurdeep, what is going to be, I know you're running short of time, but my next question to you
There's
is,
time.
okay, fine. 2024 elections are not far away. And what is going to be the Congress's next game plan? You have a meeting coming up in Bihar, I'm told, sometimes in May. And a lot of things are happening. Nitish Kumar is also moving around, meeting up leaders. And people, all this along, all those people who were saying that, it's like a do and die battle. Congress has to regain its prominence as the principal opposition party. I think Congress is back in the reckoning. But what is the next biggest challenge from here on for Congress?
Neelu, if you just look back upon 9 years of BJP rule, what is clear is that the political parties are under great stress. Congress party has stood up against the ideology of RSS. It has stood up against the pressure tactics of RSS, which is so bad that anybody who speaks out, agencies haunt them. Rahul Gandhi had to lose his membership over what? A defamation case, something which has never happened before. So this is where Congress party has made its position clear. Having said that, we also know that to defeat BJP today, to defeat Mr. Modi's government, all parties have to come together. Congress has already taken that initiative. There was a meeting at the residence of Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was there, Mr. Nitish Kumar was there, Mr. Tejasvi Yadav was there. A decision was taken that we'll be reaching out to all the political parties who are in opposition. Those who work with Congress party, Congress is speaking to them. Those who are not in alliance with Congress party, which includes Mamata Banerjee, which includes Naveen Patnaik, which includes Akhilesh Yadav, which includes KCR, which includes YSR. All these people are being spoken to by Nitish Kumar. So after this round is over and after the Karnataka elections are today out, there will be a meeting of the joint opposition in Patna that has been decided in the first meeting itself, which we followed up with other meetings. So we'll be working on two parts. A, what are the contours of the alliance of opposition party? What are the variation in state by state? And B, what is the program which we will take to people of India? Because we just cannot fight elections only on the basis of an alliance which is not rooted in a program. So these two things will now parallelly move ahead. Karnataka election has given a message that BJP is not invincible. Himachal has given a message that BJP is not invincible. And now we are going to do the next level of planning with all the opposition parties.
Gurdeep, you are Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's closest aide, and that is why I'm specifically asking you a question on Mallikarjun Kharge. We saw him going around the state. The entire campaign of Congress was centering around Khargeji, and Congress managed this time that it wasn't centered only around Rahul. And BJP wanted that campaign to become Modi versus Rahul, but Congress very cleverly avoided that. Now, for Khargeji personally, this victory means what really?
Well, I don't agree with this. No. Yes. First, I do not agree with your analysis. Rahul Gandhi campaigned from the front position. There was no effort to shield him from any debate, Modi versus Rahul. That debate is there in this country. He is the strongest ideological voice against Prime Minister Modi. And we don't shy from it. We do not try to shield him. He campaigned vigorously throughout the state. He spoke to people, he addressed media, he addressed rallies. Now, Congress is not a single leader party. Mr. Kharge is the president. Priyanka Gandhi was one of the main campaigners. Mr. Siddaramaiah was one of the main campaigners. Mr. D.K. Shivakumar was one of the main campaigners. Mr. M.B. Patel, Mr. Parmeshwaran was there. So there's a whole battery of leaders which we deployed in this election. Because unless everybody works together, unless everybody gives their best, we cannot fight the might of BJP, which is well aided by Election Commission, which is aided by agencies, which is aided by media and money power. So we all the leaders came together to take up a challenge that this Modi government has disqualified Rahul Gandhi from Lok Sabha. This Modi government has ensured that nobody speaks in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. When Mr. Kharge spoke in Rajya Sabha and Mr. Rahul Gandhi spoke in Lok Sabha, all the relevant words were expunged from the proceedings. So this is a dictatorial government against whom we will win in Karnataka and will start a process of safeguarding the democracy in this country. Mr. Kharge led from front. He stay put in Karnataka for almost full 1 month. He came on 14th of April and today is 13th of May. He has been here. He has toured the entire state. He has put together the entire leadership of state together. He is one of the most respected leaders of Karnataka also. He is Congress president as well as he is one of the most respected leaders, and he carries that moral stature and wisdom to bring everybody together. And I think we have shown what can be done despite all the might of Bharatiya Janata Party and its allies, which are non-political allies.
Right. Now I'd request all the guests on the panel if they have a question for Gurdeep, because he won't be available very soon. So Puneet, over to you first if you have any question for Gurdeep, and then I'll go to Dakshin. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Gurdeep, I just wanted to quickly ask you, during Karnataka and before Karnataka in Himachal, we saw the Congress run a campaign that ran like a very tight ship. It was, a united leadership at the state level without any bickering during the campaign. And a campaign that was very, very local, very hyper-local on local issues. You did not weight Mr. Modi or, the BJP on national issues, but you concentrated on local issues about the state. Going forward, you have 4 major states coming to polls end of this year. But the 3 of them are the Hindi heartland states where you are directly pitted against the BJP, and the kind of politics there is different from a Himachal or a Karnataka. Is this going to be the template now for your assembly elections where you'll focus only on local issues, try to focus only on the state leadership of the BJP, the sitting, the incumbent chief minister if the BJP is in power, and, not rely on matters of national politics when it comes to, an Adani or a Rafael or etc. taking center stage, instead having local issues take center stage. Is that going to be the template forward? And secondly, how do you juxtapose this for a national election in 24? Because there the stakes are very different. The kind of campaign issues would be very different.
Puneet, I would like to put it differently. In Himachal and in Karnataka, we have proved that Mr. Modi is not the magical figure that the entire media portrays him to be. There are limitations to his aura, and there's a chink in the armor that we have proved. Every state election is a different election. There cannot be a same narrative, similar narrative, or a common narrative throughout the various state elections. So we are planning, we are planning to take every election on its own. Certainly the election in Chhattisgarh will be completely different from election in Telangana, or for that matter, Telangana will be completely different from election in Rajasthan. So I think any political party today will try to develop a strategy given the grassroots realities. We are going to people, we are identifying the issues and will address those issues. So it is not just against Modi. If you see in Himachal or in Karnataka, both places, what we have done is we have given our version of governance. We have given our version of what we stand for, which is guarantees, which is the ideological difference with BJP, and which is also that how Congress in governance differs from BJP. So these are the issues that we are taking. There will not be a pan-India strategy for the state elections. Yes, when we come to Lok Sabha elections, as I told you, our first meeting with the opposition will happen in the next few weeks. Date is not decided. It will be in Patna. From there, we are also working on the program. We are putting together the entire system with all opposition parties, that what is the program that the joint opposition should take to people of India. Because at national level, it is not just the issues of guarantees. It is also the issue of wholesale sale of Indian economy to individuals. So largely one narrative will prevail either in states or in national. That I can agree with you, that it is rich versus poor. BJP is a party of rich people. BJP speaks the language of rich. BJP is a party which is taking away the money from poor and handing over to few of its friends. That narrative has to be converted in a common language for the voters of India.
I have one more quick question to ask. I'm sorry, I'm
Go ahead,
hogging
please
some
go
time.
ahead. Go ahead
Just
and
one
ask
quick
the
question,
yes,
since you're also attached to Mr. Kharge's office. You know, there are a lot of matters organizationally for the Congress to resolve at the central level. The plenary session, you had several resolutions that were moved, but none of those have been implemented in spirit. You know, even though the plenary got over in February, we're now in May. You know, the reconstitution of the Congress Working Committee still has to take place. The, you know, other promises about an election strategy department, about, you know, oversight of office bearers, etc. All of those had taken a backseat, possibly because you were all focused on Karnataka. Also, the turf war in Rajasthan that we've seen Mr. Sachin Pilot is still on a 5-day yatra. He's constantly attacking the state government on various issues. Are these issues, organizational issues, at least for now, going to take precedence, or are they going to, you know, still be on the back burner while you talk to opposition parties in Patna on the next strategy against the BJP?
The plenary happened in the last week of February. After that, we had March and April. So by April, the tickets distribution had started. So we had a simple choice to make, given the constraints of time. Do we carry out all the organizational changes and not focus on Karnataka? Or we first focus on Karnataka and then bring about the changes? Because even if we had brought about all the changes and lost Karnataka, it would have come to a zero. So that's why a conscious decision was taken that focus all the energies on Karnataka election. And that is why you see, after, I don't know, maybe for the first time, the half of the candidates, almost 125 candidates, 60%, were declared weeks before the notification. So this was a change which was consciously brought about. We focus on Karnataka. Now we have one Karnataka, and I can assure you in coming weeks, you'll see all those changes coming up. It's only a matter of few weeks now. The consultative process will begin after the formation of Karnataka government, and maybe in 3-4 weeks, everything will be carried out.
Sir, I want to ask you a question.
You
Ji,
know,
ji, Prakash.
Mr. Gurdeep, now,
Ji.
you know,
I'll come
we
to you.
understand that the
Just a moment, Dakshin. Pramod Swami is a political commentator from Tamil Nadu, Gurdeep. So I'll also let him speak. But yes, Dakshin, over to you first. Yes.
Yeah. You know, the CLP is going to take a call, obviously, and, you know, the leader is going to get elected. But looking beyond that, once that is done, there is inherent fault lines within the Congress party in Karnataka. You know, we can't run away from that. Now, the question now is, will the Congress party stay united? Initially, of course, there may not be any issues, but eventually, say, the old DK Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah issues, you know, will they come up, or, you know, how do you, you know, how are you strategizing this to ensure that not only that they stay united, but the optics are also important in the long run?
I think we understand the optics. Right through the elections, you must have seen that there was entire message was being portrayed of unity. And this unity was not cosmetic. After a long time, during ticket distributions, you see everybody came out smiling. Nobody had any major complaint on ticket distribution. So this unity is being based upon acknowledging the mutual strengths of leaders, acknowledging their grassroots basically support, and adjusting to that. And they have all come together because today they also realize that there's a larger threat of RSS, Bharatiya Janata Party, dismantling the democracy of this country. And we all understand that. And I think I don't foresee, because I have seen this election very closely. I've been interacting with all these leaders. Not on a single occasion has there been any bickering, either on tickets or on the direction the campaign should take, or on finances, resources, everything has been very smooth. So I think that gives us a lot of hope and confidence that this Karnataka government is going to be a stable government, it's going to be a strong government, and these differences which emerge out of the mutual strengths of those leaders will actually become the strength of Congress party and Congress government, because they are all powerful leaders with lot of grassroots support. So I think we want to weave them into a machinery which delivers a good governance to people of Karnataka, so that this victory can be converted into Lok Sabha victory also in Karnataka. We will not be satisfied by this victory. There are 28 seats in Karnataka, and we hope to win majority of those seats next year, and next 1 year we'll be working towards that.
Okay. I'll come to Prakash Swami now. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sir, we have forgotten one angle here. Jagdish Shettar quit the BJP and joined the Congress. He claimed he was one of the tallest leaders of BJP, and Congress welcomed him with open hands and gave him a good seat. He lost the election. Now there are talks that he was made to lose the election because they don't want a third contender for a chief minister post in Karnataka, because Jagdish is always a very senior leader, former chief minister, and the big leader. So is it true that the Congress engineered the defeat of Jagdish Shettar so that there are only two candidates for the chief minister? And what kind of a message this sends out to people who want to come and join from BJP to Congress? Number two, Rahul Gandhi spent less time in Karnataka. We expected him to travel across the state to campaign and all that, but looks like he was not very keen on campaigning. I mean, he did. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but it was not up to the desired level. So is there any kind of a problem with Rahul trying to campaign in Tamil Nadu? I mean, in Karnataka, or was he not interested in campaigning in Karnataka?
I'll answer to both of your questions. Number one, are we really believing that Mr. Jagdish Shettar was positioning himself as the chief minister in Congress party? I don't think any political commentator can take that view. Mr. Shettar came to Congress party because he was humiliated by BJP. He lost because BJP, entire RSS, ensured that he should lose. They put in everything on that seat. That's a different matter. But I do not think a single political commentator in Karnataka was visualizing Mr. Shettar as a CM candidate in Congress party. B, you see, this is where the perceptions matter. Mr. Modi did less than 30 meetings and roadshows. And everybody is saying that it was a, carpet bombing. It was a carpet bombing by Modi, in which he did less than 30 meetings and roadshows. Rahul Gandhi did more than 30 meetings and roadshow, but people seem to think he did less. Because these perceptions are created by mainstream media. Rahul Gandhi actually carried out more campaign than Narendra Modi. But Mr. Modi was all over television, which was amplifying his meetings and were creating a perception that he is working more than others. Mr. Kharge, in fact, did highest among all of them, 40 meetings. 40 meetings he did alone. So 100 meetings were between Mr. Kharge, Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. 100. So we live in an era where media can create the fake narratives. And I think many people get caught in that narrative. I can tell you, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was all over the state. He campaigned more than Mr. Modi, and not just campaign in the election. He walked through Karnataka for, I think, 17 days in Bharat Jodo Yatra. That is also a part of campaign. And he has been engaging actively in Karnataka elections. If you would have seen the news reports during the ticket distribution, Mr. Kharge, Mr. Rahul Gandhi for several days sat up to 2 o'clock in the night. Why they were sitting? Because they were all very serious about Karnataka elections.
Okay. Mr. Swami, you have any other question? Or we wind up? Satish, Mr. Nagarajan, any more questions for Gurdeep Sappal? Satish, you were... Okay. Yes, Mr. Nagarajan. No. Yes. Go ahead.
What is the impact of this Bharat Jodo Yatra and the 5-point promise to the people in percentage terms?
Well,
Actually, it will take some time, but
Yeah.
right now, if you could give,
Mm.
we just
because it is very difficult to quantify the impact in percentage terms without doing a proper study. And I do not want to say anything which is baseless, but I can tell you, Bharat Jodo Yatra had this phenomenal impact on our cadre. That Congress party is not party which is finished, which was being said all over India through by BJP, by media, that there's no future for Congress party. Bharat Jodo Yatra rekindled the hope that there is Congress party, Congress cadre is there. I can share with you when this yatra was being planned in Udaipur Shivir, and I was there part of that meeting. Our leaders were apprehensive whether we'll be able to pull it off. We were talking whether daily mobilization should be 1,500 or 2,000. Somebody said 5,000. So they said, oh, 5,000 is a huge number. How will we manage for 6 months, 5,000 people every day? But we were confident that people will come out, Congress worker will come out, and not a single day, except one day in Madhya Pradesh, except one day, every single day, at least 50,000 people came out for 6 months, every day. If we plan a public meeting, even if BJP, even if Mr. Modi plans a public meeting of 1 lakh people or 50,000 people, there's a planning of 3 weeks, 4 weeks in that. There's a huge mobilization. Here we were having a different crowd in morning, a different crowd in evening for 5 months on a trot. So suddenly Congress worker realized that I'm not alone. Suddenly the Congress worker realized that there are huge number of Congress people who are willing to come out on road, who are willing to work for the party, and that has given a newfound confidence in our cadres. That was the first thing. Second thing, Bharat Jodo Yatra also gave this message to non-Congress people that there's a party which is willing to fight the ideology of RSS. When everybody was surrendering, Congress party stood up, Rahul Gandhi stood up, and this message has gone to all people who are not Congress supporters also, but who do not like Bharatiya Janata Party, who do not like RSS. They also felt enthused. And when this happens, then it is very easy to organize electoral campaigns also, because we know people are there, we knew people are willing to work, we only had to give them assignments. So in this election, when we gave guarantee cards, when we decided upon guarantees, we printed guarantee cards with signatures of both PCC and CLP, and we distributed them door to door. And I think in an entire Karnataka, we did a fairly good job of maybe reaching out almost 70 to 75% households. How did that happen? That happened because our cadre got enthused during the process of Bharat Jodo Yatra. The cadre was there, we had identified, we requested them to go to house, and they were able to do it. So even if BJP controlled media did not talk much about our campaign reached doorsteps. This happened in Himachal also. Himachal, if you see, every single voter knew what Congress guarantees were. And in Karnataka also, largely, I will not say every single voter, but this campaign did reach common people. So both things are interlinked. And I think I would not put a percentage, but an overwhelming credit can be given to both of these things.
Additional question, only one.
Ji.
Is there any planning for a east to west Bharat Jodo Yatra? Any planning in the 2024?
Well, we are not using the word Bharat Jodo Yatra 2, but I can share with you that we are certainly planning to go to people in some form of yatra. You see, that Bharat Jodo Yatra was a huge exercise in terms of logistics, in terms of everything. So that the same format may not be repeated.
No,
because
east and west were left out. That is why I'm asking.
But that's what I'm telling you. There will be maybe a yatra or a campaign of a similar nature, not exact nature, but we are planning that. But it may not be of the exact nature because we have to work for Lok Sabha elections also. We cannot put all our energy in one yatra, but outreach in form of walking will be there.
Okay. Satish, you're the only one left who didn't have a question. So any more queries or we wind up there?
No, you're fine, Neelu.
Okay. So thank you, Gurdeep. Thank you so much for joining on the Federal, and our continuous coverage on the Federal continues after a little break. So stay tuned, subscribe to our channel and stay on with us. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you.